It's Friday, time to party. It's a big weekend. It's betting weekly. It's Bet Rivers. It's football season. It's NFL season. And it's a new show, the latest entry from the Betting Weekly studios every Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. It's Betting Weekly, The Edge. Eventually, I'll have that memorized. For now, I got to look at it again because these shows are coming fast and furious. I'm Adam the Bull. In the middle of the three-headed monster here is Dustin Fox. On the other end, Doug Kezirian. You know us all. Doug, obviously, professional gambler, professional handicapper, does Betting Weekly Hardball, does Betting Weekly Fast Break. He is the king of the WNBA betting. We know that. I don't know how he's dealing with Caitlin Clark missing the rest of the season. Maybe we'll get into that. I don't know. Dustin is in Tennessee because he's calling a game between Tennessee and I forgot who they're playing. Remind me.
ETSU.
ETSU. So he's got that going on. Guys, good to be with you. Doug, how are you, first of all? What's going on?
Well, busy, and which is great. You mentioned all the shows we're doing together. It's awesome time of year. Good to be with you guys. I know, Adam, you and I do shows all the time. Dustin, long time, first time, one of those situations. But look, we're fired up. It's the NFL. It's the king of betting. America's, as Howie Long once said in his Hall of Fame induction speech, baseball is America's pastime. Football is America's passion, and it really is. And we have you covered. It's nice to do some NFL on this show. We're going to be doing it twice a week, like you alluded to. And the season has arrived. Last night, you get a gross beat on the over if you had it. And then the drama with the spitting and the side. So there's never shortage of drama in the NFL. And we're going to hopefully pick some winners here.
It looked like it was going to be both teams scoring 40 points the way things were going early. And then the scoring just stopped, unfortunately. If you had that over. And the day's off to a good start, by the way, because I'm Betting Weekly Hardball. Chris Macero and I both told everybody the over on the Cubs-Nats game and the Cubs individual run total over. That both hit. The Cubs won 11-5 in that one. But now it's on to football, Dustin, and I know you love betting on football.
I do.
And so there's a lot to get to. On this show, we're going to focus more on prop bets and parlays because there's so much to bet on. I think when we all first started gambling back in the day, you would never have imagined. I know I couldn't have. I'm sure, Doug, you guys, both a little younger than me, but I could have imagined all the things you could bet on nowadays. It was basically those days I used to fill out the little sheet, and I'd pick the games, maybe an over-under. That was about it. And now there are so many options, and we're here to try to give people an edge with those options, guys. Are we ready?
I think we're ready, and you're right. There's so many different options, and honestly, there's ways to bet on these games that can make it a lot of fun and make it a much more interesting watch as opposed to just betting a typical spread or a total. We're talking about you can bet on whether or not how many interceptions Joe Flacco is going to throw against the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday.
Yeah.
You can bet on rushing totals. You can, there's so many things. Tackles you can even bet on. Like, I don't know. It's pretty fun. We all know about the Super Bowl props and how many crazy things that we can do during that game.
Yeah.
But it continues through the regular season here with the NFL, and the NFL specifically has so many options, guys. And I can't wait to be with you for the entire season, talking about all these fun options. Instead of just talking spreads, we're going to lock people in to some same game parlays and really try to make some fans some cash this year.
And there's different weeks. We may all have different amount of picks. We're not going to get locked into having to make a certain amount because some days you got a lot of things you like. Some days you have a little. There are 6 games we're going to hit on. We're going to get started with the first game in a moment. But before we do, Doug, as the professional handicapper here, I'm curious. When it comes to whatever sport it is, but let's talk about the first weekend of the NFL. You have 16 games. Now we still have 15 games left, including tonight. With so many different possibilities of prop bets, you can't look through maybe you do. Maybe you do look through every single one. But how do you start narrowing it down? How do you find the needles in the haystack, if you will, when there's so many different things you can bet on?
Well, it's not like cramming for exams back in the day, right? Where you're just kind of on your own and you just do it and try to shove it all and retain it all. There's a method to the madness. Everyone has their own sort of fluidity and process, but a lot of times people work with partners and things like that where they do shared, so almost like information sheets. We know broadcasters, play-by-play guys, and Dustin certainly knows this. You have those big boards. It's like a coach's play sheet,
Yep.
but they have it, and it's the depth chart of each position. So during the game they can look up and down and have notes in front of them like they're doing a TED talk. Well, there's ways to organize information and depth chart and nuggets. Like I met up with a guy who was in town, a buddy of mine from high school a couple weeks ago, and he showed me his Google Doc where he just extracted information on every NFL team all summer and just put it in certain points because you're going to have every beat writer's got great information and how to organize it. Organization is really important, but you can find those needles in the haystack. And sometimes you'll collaborate, much like we are on a
Sure.
show together, and flush it out, A, from a discussion standpoint, but B, you may follow your favorite team a little bit more closely or understand something a little more nuanced. And a lot of times it's pattern behavior, and something will occur that'll trigger something that happened years ago. So I always joke that I have scar tissue of so many losses and dumb bets. And, I'll say things like, oh, old Doug would be betting this favorite at 12 and a half. But then you learn your lesson, so to speak. So a lot of times it's just experience and you can't replace it. There's no comp you can read from a book. You can try, but you can't. So a lot of it's just putting that all together in the melting pot, having a Venn diagram. But it's collaboration like we're going to do on the show. It's being open-minded, hearing someone else's input and analysis or devil's advocate thought, and then just trying to be able to pick winners, which really is a skill.
No doubt about it. And so let's start picking those winners, guys. There's one game on the docket this Sunday that we all have at least one bet we like. And so we're going to start with that game. It's the Bengals and the Browns in Cleveland this Sunday, 1 p.m. You see that the Bengals are a 5.5-point road favorite. The over-under is 48, but we've all got prop bets or prop bets in this one that we like. Doug, let's start with you. Yours involves an old quarterback throwing for a lot of yards.
It's Joe Flacco. So you have the point spread where it's a really wonky number, right? And we know since he's been terrible in week one openers to start the season. So the question is, are they going to overcome that and whatnot? I think this is more about Flacco being able to shred a defense. With the new rules in the NFL the last handful of years, you can't really touch the quarterback at all. So we see these guys play deeper into their careers. And as we saw with guys like Sam Darnold and some other veterans having a resurrection, that mental component to playing quarterback is so valuable. Look, Peyton Manning retired after he won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he had a little bit of a noodle arm, but he probably checked out of so many plays at the line of scrimmage that would have been negative plays. His brain was a weapon in that game. And I think Flacco can see the field. He's facing a weak defense. With Stefanski, he's carved up opposing defenses. There are weapons in Cleveland. And if they're going to be trailing a lot of the game, like the point spread suggests, and that Cincy offense is obviously high powered. So I think this has shootout written all over it. And it's week one. Flacco's fresh. That age isn't really caught up to him. The back is not hurting, things like that. So I'm on his over passing yards. I think he should be able to sling it on this Bengals defense.
Joe Flacco played 5 games for the Browns in 2023, including one playoff game. In all 5 of those games, he threw for over 300 yards. So the over 242.5 against the Bengal defense that at least last year was very poor sounds like a good play. I'm with you on that. Dustin, let's go to your pick in this game. It involves a guy that Joe Flacco will be throwing the ball to. And if Joe Flacco goes over the total, then your guy will probably go over his total as well. But you're looking for a touchdown for him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Adam. This is to go along with everything Doug said about Flacco in this game being a shootout. You said early in the week when we did our pod on Tuesday, Bull, you think it's going to go over the total as well. And I said some things that may make it go under. Like it's week one, it's a rivalry game. The Browns offense may not be that good. But all those things could factor in. However, I do think that the Bengals offense is going to be really good this year. Burrow has been healthy. He played in the preseason. I think he's going to get off to a fast start. And with that being said, it's going to force the Browns offense to throw the football a lot more than they probably want to in week one. My prop bet for this game is David Njoku, an anytime touchdown scorer and you can find this. I mean, anywhere
Look at that.
from
Plus 185, we
one.
got it.
What do you got? 185. Okay, so
Yeah.
it was. I think it was a little higher even this morning. It'll be bought down. I would take it even at plus 160, if it goes lower, because I think he's going to get a touchdown in this game. Remember, the Bengals defense last year gave up the second most touchdowns to tight ends in the entire league. Flacco and Njoku have a connection. Njoku is going to be a free agent after this year, which means he is sucking up to Joe Flacco. He's like, dude, let's go hang out. Let's ride around in golf carts. Let's make these funny videos and let's be like stepbrothers. Okay, so all those things to me factor in for the chemistry that those two have. I think he's going to be looking to the tight ends, to Harold Fannin, who's a rookie, but also David Njoku. I think he's going to have a big game. And even if he doesn't score early, guys, there's always the chance for that late touchdown.
Yes, no doubt about it. I'm with you on that one too. I like this. I like where you're both headed. A lot of offense, a lot of points, and I'm with you. I mentioned earlier in the week that I do like the over in this game, but I'm going to go to the other team, and that's the Bengals. And obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Jamar Chase and winning the Triple Crown last year and his battle with Denzel Ward. But if Denzel Ward is on Jamar Chase, which he won't be all the time, but he will be a lot, that leaves T. Higgins. And the Browns don't have anybody that could defend T. Higgins. T. Higgins also a big-time threat in the red zone, in the end zone, because he's big, right? T. Higgins has scored 10 last year, scored 10 touchdowns in 12 games. That's almost one per game. In his last 3 matchups with the Browns, he has scored 3 touchdowns. Leads you to believe that 1 touchdown shouldn't be too hard. I expect the Bengals to score at least 4 touchdowns, if not more, in this game. I got to think that with Jamar Chase drawing Denzel Ward, that T. Higgins is the next most likely guy, certainly via the air, to score a touchdown. So I love T. Higgins anytime touchdown scorer at plus 120. Love it. Love it. So a lot of points in this one, guys. I think it's going to be certainly a high-scoring game. We're all with that. Let's get to the next game. That's the Lions and the Packers. And I got to pick in this game, guys, and I'll be curious to see what you think. Packers are a 2-point favorite. The over-under's 47. Jahmyr Gibbs of the Lions, like a lot of people, one of my favorite players. I think he could be the best running back in the NFL this year. In fact, I'll predict right now he leads the league amongst running backs in total yardage, rushing and receiving. However, for this one game, I'm going against Jahmyr Gibbs. I've got him under 92.5 rushing and receiving yards combined at minus 115, and here's why. Jahmyr Gibbs has been great since coming into the league 2 years ago, but the one team he has not played well against consistently is Green Bay, and Green Bay just got better up front. So it's the first week. I think they know how important he is to them. I think as the year goes on, as we've seen the last couple of years, Gibbs will outdo Montgomery in terms of touches. But early in the season, they've been known to be careful. Again, he struggled against Green Bay. Jahmyr Gibbs in 4 career games against Green Bay has never gone over this number in terms of rushing and receiving yards combined. Against everybody else, he's done it 3/4 of the time. But not against Green Bay. So I like the under. Probably the only time I'll pick an under all year against Jahmyr Gibbs. But this time I'm going with it. What say you guys? You with me or against?
Well, I just want to just say one thing. You mentioned Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons is amazing. However, he's a little banged up with that back right now. So just
That's
saying,
true.
there's a little concern with that. And the other thing is, the Packers did trade away Kenny Clark in this deal too, right? I mean, he was there's one of the stalwarts in the middle.
Yeah,
they're one of the stalwarts in the middle of that defense who just left like a week ago. So all of a sudden they've got to make some decisions on the fly as to their depth up front. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't love the pick, Adam. I'm just giving you a couple of reasons as to why you may want to be a little cautious there.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I'd be totally honest. I forgot. I wasn't thinking about the Kenny Clark part of this, and he is a good run stopper. Doug, what say you?
And I'm glad you brought this up because I've been thinking about past performance being projectable when you change an OC that had such controls, right? If he's such a mastermind, he being Ben Johnson, and he's doing offensive sets and understanding, then does that mean you throw out all of last year's stats? Or is the Gibbs struggling against the Packers more connected to just the matchup of the defense schematically? And like you said, focusing and prioritizing Gibbs on a defensive game plan. So I'm curious to see how much of these Lions weapons can put up similar production, or if they just go to different offensive sets with new play caller and all of a sudden the tight ends take off or whatever it is, right? I just haven't thought much of Goff over the years. I think there's a reason the Rams traded him, right? And if McVay knows something, and then yes, the offensive weapons around him were great. All this, I'm kind of like not sure about Detroit coming into the season in many ways, and production from the skills positions is one of them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Everybody loves Ben Johnson, and everybody's excited about the Bears yet again this season. I'll be curious to see how, if at all, that negatively affects them. It's a great point. Next game, guys, it's the Cardinals and the Saints. The Saints, who may be battling the Browns all year for worst team in football. The Cardinals are a 6.5-point road dog. Road favorite. The over-under is a very low 43 because the Saints maybe actually have the worst quarterback situation in all of football. Doug, let's start with you here. I know you got to play in this game, and that involves one of the very best running backs and one of the few really good skill position players on the Saints.
Yeah, it's a name we've known. Anybody who plays fantasy certainly knows Alvin Kamara, and he has not had the same production. This is a bad roster, like you mentioned, but this is also when he's healthy.
Yep.
And when he's healthy, he's a good player, right? He's still really good, especially out of the backfield. He has a lot of receiving yards. So I like his over receiving yards because I think he's just a safety valve. We're not breaking in a new quarterback, right? Tyler Shook's not here. The rookie's not playing.
Right.
It's Rattler. And Rattler, we know his sort of connection with Kamara from previous games. So I think Rattler will be a higher floor than a rookie quarterback. And I think he's going to make some plays, and all you really need is one or two dump offs to Kamara. So he's not hurt. And his production's pretty impressive if you look at some of his numbers all season. And if they do trail like we expect them to trail now, maybe it's not a double-digit deficit like some of these point spreads later in the season would suggest in New Orleans, but Kamara's fresh. He's at home on the fast turf. He's a dump-off option for a team that's not good and should be trailing. And this is a low number. So 29.5, I feel, is like a really good bet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Doug. I mean, he was only under 29.5. I think 4 times out of the 14 games he played last year. And again, you got a quarterback that he's not very good. So he's going to be looking to dump the ball off. And Alvin Kamara is that safety blanket that, he could get those yards in one play. I mean,
oh, yeah.
I mean, probably 2, but yeah, he could in 1, yeah.
Dustin, what do you think of this one?
I mean, I'm cool. I'm cool with that one. I mean, yeah. I don't I agree with you, Adam. I mean, he could easily get that in one play. He's always been a great pass catcher out of the backfield. So even at his older age, I think he's still a safety valve. And you said security blanket there as well. So do you guys have a lean on where this game goes? I know the spread's 6.5 or whatever, but I mean, do you think that the Saints can actually hang?
I think if they're going to hang in a game, this is one of them, right?
Yeah.
I think there's be some growing pains, but at home is the key. Like if they were going somewhere else, I'd lay points against them, like a lot of points. But I don't trust Arizona. Survivor has me scared. I don't know. I think the Saints look. Their win total got bet from 6.5 to 5.5 for good reason all summer, and I still like the under 5.5. But the softest part of the schedule is the beginning.
Remember, the Saints started 2-0 last year. They scored a total of 91 points in those first 2 games against Carolina and Dallas. They won 47-10 and 45-19, 44-19, and then they won 3 more games the rest of the season. So the first week or 2, weird things happen. I could see the Saints keeping it close. I did pick up the Cardinals in almost every fantasy league I have for team defense, but we shall see. Let me get some fan comments here before we move on to the next game. Steve from Lynn says, Very happy you guys are adding an NFL show. We are too. Kyle says the NFL is back, baby. Petey, LFG, let's go. Steve from Lynn, let's go. Love it. Who else? Terry says, is this the year David Montgomery fades away? Terry, do we? I mentioned that before. Anybody think David Montgomery fades away this year? Or you think he's still in the mix in Detroit?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be fading
for me.
long before now.
Yeah, I think at least in the beginning of the year, he's still very much in the mix. I think he will start to fade away later in the season, but we'll see. I got a couple of real quick ones, and then we're going to wrap up with the Chargers and Chiefs. Let me give you a couple of quick picks here. In the Titans-Broncos game, R.J. Harvey, the rookie, is going to be playing his first NFL game here. And I know they signed J.K. Dobbins, and I know they want to use J.K. Dobbins. However, I think the Broncos will be running a ton in this game. He likes to run the ball, period. And Harvey's just a better back. The Titans, I think, are going to struggle offensively with Cam Ward in his first game. I think the game plan early with Sean Payton will be to run, and then they'll be up enough they'll run more. Over 34.5 for a guy I expect to get at least a dozen touches, if not more. This one feels like a no-brainer for me. Is this too good to be true, or am I crazy here?
I just think
Titans definitely that bad. I'll let Dustin go, but I'm not convinced the Titans are going to be that bad. I think Cam Ward should have won the Heisman last year. He's that good. So I'm not convinced they're bad. Their quarterback play, and it was inept last year, and they were in a lot of games. They have skill position players, so I don't know if it's going to be this like one-sided game where Denver just bleeds clock.
All right, Dustin?
Yeah, and I also just don't I don't like last year it was a little different, right? I mean, we're talking about a rookie quarterback that they were just trying to be, bring him along slowly, and they were winning low scoring games with defense and running the ball. I actually think they may throw the ball a little bit more in this game. I think Tennessee. I do like Cam Ward, by the way. I thought he was sensational at Miami. I thought that the Browns would have loved to have him and would have probably drafted him had he been available. But overall, I don't know. That's just it's a tough number. It's a tough number for me.
All right.
Dude, the spread's 8.5 in this game. I just don't know. Like, that's such a big number for a week one game. We don't know enough about either one of these teams. We know Denver's going to be a really good team. People think Denver could be a surprise in the AFC. I don't know, man. I still got to see more. And I like Sean Payton for some reason. I just don't believe in him.
Okay. Fair
enough.
By the way, I left out a pick in the Lions-Packers game. I also like Sam Laporta over 38.5 receiving
I like
yards.
that one too, Adam. I like that one too.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
He underachieved a little early last year and kind of got lost with all the breakout seasons at tight end, but I like him a lot. And in the Vikings-Bears game, I've got Aaron Jones over 50.5 rushing yards at -114. The Bears have last year had the worst rush defense in the league. Jones has killed the Bears over 100 yards in his last 3 games against them. So I like that. Let's get to the final game here, the Chargers and Chiefs. That's tonight. Dustin, you've got a parlay you like in this one, right?
I do. I have a Omar and Hampton anytime touchdown score in this game. I think what number do we end up getting it at Bet Rivers? Do we have it at plus 160, plus 150, something along those lines?
Plus 145.
Okay. Yeah, man. I like this for the young rookie who, by the way, I think has a chance potentially to be offensive rookie of the year. And I like his over. Frankly, I like his over in rushing, and I like his over in receiving yards too. I think it's only like 12.5, but the rushing is, I think we have it at 48.5 yards rushing at -112 or -115, something along those lines. Last I had checked.
Yeah, over 49.5, -114.
Yeah, man, this kid was a stud at North Carolina. You saw what North Carolina was putting out there the other night. You know what I mean? This kid was a stud. They obviously they added beefed up their offensive line.
Yeah.
I think that you put this kid in an offense with Jim Harbaugh, who just wants to get in there with 2-3 tight ends and play smash mouth football like Woody Hayes is across the field from him. Give me Omari and Hampton, man. I think he could rush for like 80 yards tonight. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, you could do a parlay of him on the rushing yards, him on total yards, and an anytime touchdown would probably pay off nicely. Doug, any final thoughts?
Ladder it up if you like the
Yeah.
yards, and that's always fun to do, stuff like that. I've heard great things, read great things. I just know this Chiefs defense is pretty solid, but maybe Harbaugh's going to try to mix it up just because what is Herbert like 0-8 against the Chiefs or something ridiculous? But they've always had lead changes in the last like minute or overtime, so should come down to the wire. Hampton, as long as he holds on to the football, because NFL coaches really draw the line there, they should be fine. I can see him being. I mean, look, running backs are ready to play right away. When they're good, they're ready to play right away. So this is not one of these things where it's going to take some time. He was an absolute beast at UNC last year, so I can certainly see over 49.5 yards. Touchdowns are always kind of a crapshoot. I don't know enough about the OCs and things like that, but it's not like Herbert is, Jalen Hurts, where they're just going to be giving it to him and doing the push.
Guy, who did you? You
by
mentioned.
The way, I like the under in this game too. By the way, and you brought it up. Good defense by Kansas City, and we know the Chargers can play some good defense too. So I think under. I think it's 47. Yeah, 47. You have right there. I see this could be if it gets to like 24-20. I mean, I think that like look at last night's game. Last night's game was going to fly over. Now they had a weather delay, but still went under.
What did you guys, Doug? You referenced Survivor Pool. Who'd you go with? Who'd you end up going with this week?
About like 80% of my pools that I'm in, I took the Eagles last night.
Good start.
Some of the others, I just need to kind of survive the first couple of weeks, and then I'm pretty good in these pools. So I'm leaning Denver for sure, but it's just a lean. I don't think I'm going to get too cute with Arizona. There's some others. I mean, I know everyone's trendy with the Giants +6 and everything, but the Commanders are an option. I'm just a little gun shy. I really feel like I have a good handle of Survivor once like week 3 gets here. I'm just, getting there is tough. So I'm not afraid of using a good bullet, so to speak, like the Eagles. And actually, after seeing some things in the defense, they may not be a total, just crush teams this year. So I'm actually almost glad I've used the Eagles in the pools that I did.
Dustin, what about you in Survivor this week? You got somebody?
What's funny is I've never done a Survivor pool, and I'm intrigued by it because it seems like it'd be so easy, but I know it's not.
Yeah.
And as a former player in the league, it's every single week. It doesn't matter who you can be a 15-point dog and they can still win. These are professionals, so it's really, really challenging. I would probably say you said Denver is your pick this week, or you would have made it Denver, Doug, if it were not the Eagles.
I did Eagles, and then the pools that I have left, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do Denver in those.
Denver would be the one I would pick.
I did 3 different ones, and I picked a different team in each one. I had the Broncos in one, the Commanders in one, and as bad as they've been in week 1, I took the Bengals in one of them as well.
They have to get over the hump, right?
Yeah. Exactly. All right, guys, great stuff. It was a great first show. Betting Weekly, The Edge will be back on Wednesday. Do we know who you're doing that with? Doug, you're doing it with?
Yeah, I'll be doing it, but we haven't announced it yet, so I was going to kind of hold the powder until then.
Hold the powder on that. And the 3 of us will be back together again next Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern for Dustin and Doug. I'm Adam the Bull. Thanks to Z and Alex for producing today. Hope you enjoyed Betting Weekly, The Edge from the Betting Weekly studios under the Bet Rivers umbrella. We'll talk to you next time.